What's the most disturbing text message you got? Are you a friend of username? Yeah, why? He passed away. This message came from the account of that friend. So I thought I was getting pranked. It still feels so unreal. Losing a friend you met online. I only met him in person once. But I drove 10 hours out to the service anyways. I'd known him online for 5 years. He was only a few years over 20. I'll miss that man. My mom, please call me every time, oh god. Dad is dead. Friend texted a colleague I locked the keys in the office. Only. Predictive text changed keys to Jews. You shouldn't have refused me. I'll force you to kiss me the next time. I didn't recognize the number and have no clue who it came from. I did suck him off. So I may have gotten herpes. Sent to me by my dad followed by that wasn't meant for you. A second not disturbing but devastating was grandma just went into hospice. If you want to say goodbye you need to fly out tomorrow. Got that text on a Tuesday. Flew out Wednesday. Grandma died on Friday morning. Emergency alert. Ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. Would have got to be the worst one. Surely? Probably when my abusive ex contacted me years after me cutting him off. Acting all friendly and asking if I'd like to get coffee and talk sometime. He was very emotionally abusive. Manipulative. And a gun nut, so no thank you. I told him in no uncertain terms to lose my number, then blocked him. One night just as I was drifting off to sleep, my phone buzzed with the message. We're watching. From an unknown number. I just replied. Prepare for boredom. If you're not home in 20 minutes I'll gut your cats and hang them from the ceiling. From my husband. While I was in the hospital. I got a message in the middle of the night from an unknown number telling me to stop sleeping with their husband. Albeit in somewhat stronger language. I'm pretty certain it wasn't meant for me as I wasn't sleeping with anyone's husband. I replied saying I didn't think the message was meant for me and never heard anything more. My mom was in the ICU back in the fall. Due to COVID restrictions I wasn't able to go visit her. I got this text in the middle of the night. Find me please. Move me to ICU sec flipper. I bed. I have O call button. Can't adjust bed. No contact W Himan. Please. Please. I know she was confused from medications. And ICU delirium is a thing. But I can't shake the fear that was behind this message. And it's the last one I have from her as we ended up needing to remove life support a couple of days later. I have had two. One was from my mother and it said, come straight home after school. I called her. My grandma had died. The second one was from my then boyfriend and it said, I love you. He had killed himself. Grandma in heaven. Very sad. Grandma did not die. He was referring to her enjoying herself at the family cabin while feeling some stuff. My mom once texted me my full name and said call me immediately. Not a text message but in my photo gallery. Found a PP pic that had no idea where it came from. Did not recognize it nor the bathroom that it was taken in. It was terrifying to think someone got into my phone and put it in there. That happened over 10 years ago and I still don't know how it got there. Hey reaction mammoth. My name is John. I saw you on Tinder a while ago. But my account got banned shortly after so I never found out if we matched. Your dog is so cute too. Is that a mastiff? Question mark. I screenshotted your pictures because you are so hot. I showed them to a coworker to see if he knew you. Turns out he does. And he lives in the same building as you. He gave me your room number. And assured me he would let me in the building tonight. So don't be frightened when a rondo is knocking on your door. BTW. I'm DTF if you are. See you later. Ex-boyfriend, 23 at the time, saw me walking around with my then boyfriend, holding hands. So it was obviously not just some acquaintance. Came to us to say hi. Was casually friendly. Just a regular encounter. Later that evening he sent me a text message saying he was shocked I had a new boyfriend. And if he did anything to hurt himself, it was my fault. I saw him a few years later in a shop. So he seemingly didn't do anything though. A few years ago I asked a girl out and got refused. Later on that day, I got a message from a guy who was going to same school with me saying, "I heard that you like my girlfriend," with a lot of swear words. Fun fact, they were not dating, he was a really childish ass back then. A text from my best friend saying I think I killed him. We had been at the bar for a few hours beforehand and I'd just gotten into bed when I got the text. I tried calling but he never answered. I ended up driving to his house and he was asleep in bed. He swore that he never sent the text and it didn't show up on his phone either. When my son was around 8 months old, my husband, SAHD, used to take him for walks in his baby carrier around our neighborhood park. One day he texted me. Guess what I found floating in the pond? I guessed a turtle. I was wrong. It was a dead body. 10 people's licenses and social security cards. It's all good, my dude. Before he shot and killed himself and his lover hours later. It was me who accidentally sent the creepy message. A friend asked me to send him a screenshot of an article we were talking about, but I only realized a few days later that I typed his number incorrectly. So some poor stranger got a screenshot of a news article titled, translated from another language, "How Two Depressed People Apparently Decided to Become Serial Killers," with the article preview reading. Because they became a couple. 2 patients had to leave the psych hospital. While watching horror movies they apparently decided to become serial killers and murdered a woman. I would have been horrified to receive that from an unknown number without any context. I know you're there, Jen. Stop deleting my texts for a while. I had been getting spam texts from different numbers. Just the usual stuff like fake raffles or links. But they all called me Jen. I just deleted the messages and moved on. But this one made my blood run cold. My name's not Jen. My phone was on Do Not Disturb. Woke up to read a bunch of messages from an ex that would have set off alarms had I read them. It was followed by a text from her mom about how she had to take her daughter to the ER cause she tried to kill herself. Reading through it all, hours after it happened, was terrifying. Even though she was nearly 700 miles away, I still could have contacted someone who could have helped. I want my biological baby. It's my dream. Can you donate your sperms in future if I choose you? Of course I don't mean to have hanky panky and all. And I will be in closed secret. No. We were not dating. This was actually a voicemail message. Not a text message. From my mother. She said there's blood everywhere and then got cut off immediately. Calling back, it turned out she phoned me while watching CSI and a particularly gory scene caused her to exclaim that and drop the phone. I received an image of a smiling guy sitting naked on a 5-gallon bucket with a banjo strategically placed between his legs. This was randomly sent to me from an unknown number. I got into a big argument with my father in person. I walked away from it in the middle of one of his rants. He proceeded to blow up my phone with text messages, which I ignored for a week. When I finally did read them and start responding, it quickly devolved into him detailing all the ways he felt my brother was responsible for our parents' divorce. He called my mom an idiot, too. I ended up blocking his number. That was in April of last year. And I haven't spoken to him since. My mom texted dad had a heart attack. And then her and no one else in the family would answer their phones. I live across the country. I was flipping out, crying and repeatedly trying to get a hold of someone. Not until half an hour later was I told it was actually my grandpa who had heart problems. It was a minor attack. And he was fine. I went off on my mom and told her never to text something like that again. She got mad at me. Throughout my life she's texted disturbing poop like that. To everyone ever, deaths and health problems and accidents etc are never something to text about. Died yesterday. Thank you, it was my 9th grade chemistry tutor thinking that he was replying to a colleague about his 80ish mum who had passed away the day before. Unfortunately, he wasn't as savvy with phones back then. Inja was still high on blocky Nokias back in 2009. And it led to me and Amp, my then crush, being scared poopless for a whole day. Good times. I'm pregnant was up there. It was disturbing mostly because I knew she was lying. Still made for an interesting couple of days. We need you to work tonight. Look after the cats for me please. A friend of mine was going through a hard time and sent me like 4 paragraphs of poop about how hard it was to go through. I was dead tired though. So just before bed I texted her. I'm so sorry. You're dear to me, Shiloh. Good night. I woke up to a tirade of angry texts. So I went back and read the text I sent. I'm so sorry. You're dead to me, Shiloh. Good night. Fricking autocorrect. My boss drunk texted that he loved me at 3 AM on a Sunday edit. This got some traction and I think people might be drawing their own conclusions. We're both straight dudes. He just has a bad alcohol problem. Someone texted me asking for a dirt bike. But the thing is, I use iMessage and no one has my email. They then proceeded to show stalking behavior. Creepy. A few years back I got a series of texts from a random Alberta number. It said something along the lines of "We'll send these to your family," and then a bunch of photos of some person who looked absolutely defeated in a shower covered in fesses. Then the same person performing aura hanky panky on a cow. It was super disturbing and I went to my local police right away. They took the images and messages from my phone and took a statement, but I never really heard of what happened after that. Amber alert, my brother's best friend's daughter. Didn't end well. Centopics. Valerie. Turns out that it was my brothers and cousins pranking me. Good times. Last call not text but from my mother an hour before she died. At least I got to tell her I loved her. I'm not kidding. The message I was supposed to get, but did not. I was at a friend's house in high school and my mom was going to pick me up after work. I notice she's outside. Get my stuff. And get in the car. She's a little irritated because she wants to get home and I took a minute to see her and get out there. She's like, "I texted you. Why did it take so long?" I told her that I didn't get anything or I would have been ready already. She insists. Pulls out her phone to show me the text. "Be ready. I'll be there soon." Okay, cool. But to the wrong number. Normal with context for me. The intended recipient. But I'm sorry to whoever got that message out of the blue and probably kept checking through the blinds or something the rest of the evening. I got one about 3 weeks ago from a longtime friend of mine. She's been having a rough time. Told me I would never speak to her again. And thanked me for being her friend. I think she killed herself. She has contemplated it before. And brought it up a few days prior. I didn't see the message until a couple hours after it was sent. I don't have her current address or even city. Just number. I don't have contact information for her family. Number is now disconnected. Emails don't get read. The disturbing part to me is not knowing. And not having any way of finding out if that's what happened. Not to mention. Such a short message to tell me what's up and goodbye. From someone I've spoken to almost daily for a bit over 15 years. A couple weeks ago I was getting texts from a man who claimed to know who I was. And he was demanding very explicit photos of me. I ended up blocking his number, but it still bugs me that I don't know who he was. Amber alerts in the middle of the night are scaring, dude. Especially when it was 2 streets away from you.
Hi there. Look, if you enjoyed the video, well, why not go ahead and hit that like and subscribe to Reddit Stories. In fact, if you want to see even more responses to this thread, well then, take a look. There's the link in the description below. And remember, show some love to those authors while you're there. And I look forward to seeing you next time.